Hi guys. All right, welcome back. It is Monday, April 27th, our last week of April. All right, so office hours have changed again. So I don't know if your other teachers have notified you, but we kind of decided to break up the office hours kind of by your department. So like your history, English, math teachers should all have a certain time block during the week for one office hour meeting, and that's just to help make sure you guys don't have like conflicts and we're not all doing office hours at the same time. So science office hours are Mondays. And I picked the latest one we could do on a Monday because I know a lot of you are sleeping in. So Monday from 1 to 2. So that is today. There are office hours. So here's the link. You shouldn't need the password if you press the link, but if you go through Clever, here's the password. And then Thursday we'll do like what we've been doing, which is the 2:30 to 3:30. So sorry for confusing everybody again, but we do have office hours today. All right, so let's get into what we're doing today. So there's a video we're going to watch on slide 3. It's a different video than this one, and it's from Amplify. It goes over some stuff about waves that we need to answer some questions on today. So we're going to watch that video. Then we're going to do a little review of waves. And then the assignment in Amplify today is 2.3 part 4. So again, at this point, you should watch this video right here. Okay. And then what the video goes over and what you should have just saw is it again goes over wavelength. It's the distance from peak to peak. It's one complete wave. So crest to crest. We can also measure it from trough to trough. So you can see that this wavelength is smaller than this one. So if the waves are spread out, you get a bigger wavelength. Okay. Then something else we've been looking at is amplitude. So again, amplitude is the height of the wave. So from this rest position right here up to the crest, or it's just going to be the same from the rest down to the trough, the bottom of the wave. So you can see in this picture, the wavelength has stayed the same in both these waves, but this second wave has a higher amplitude. It's going to have bigger waves. Okay. One of the things I pointed out in the sim last week was the bigger the amplitude, it just changes the intensity or brightness of the light. It doesn't actually change the light. So like say we're looking at the color red, say that that's what this wavelength was, then this would be like a duller red, and then this would be a lot brighter red. Okay, so like if I pulled some color, we could look at that. All right. So then one of the things, and some of you even use this on your learning log, what we really should have started to pick up last week was that all of these different light waves, because these are all light waves, have different wavelengths. So radio wave had the longest wavelength, gamma ray had the shortest, they had the most energy. And then what we saw in the sim last week was that plants use parts of the visible light, these colors, to photosynthesize, but not all colors. Some of you wrongly put green, and we're going to get to green later on this week. But then we noticed that anything above visible light, any ultraviolet, X-ray, or gamma rays, when we got into the sim, caused damage instead. So they weren't photosynthesizing, instead it was damage. All right. So if we get to amplify, again, we're in 2.3. Okay. You don't have this. This is the video we just watched, but we are doing part 4. So on page 1 was just, again, this image. And then page 2 is where we need to look at some stuff. Okay. So we are looking at this picture here. I put it on our slides for today. Okay. So we have this picture here. And it shows light source 1. Here's the wave, and it causes an object to get warmer. So again, just kind of remind you, if I put in an object here, let's say I just use the sun, I press inspect, we get warmth, but there's nothing else, right? So let me actually just switch the light bulb. So again, here's the light bulb, it gets photosynthesis and warmth, okay? But in this one, for whatever reason, the object, it's not a plant, it's something else. All right, so we have warmth, and then light source 2, that's what we're trying to figure out what it is. So light source 2, it doesn't cause warmth, instead it causes damage, okay? And then we have 3 choices of waves to pick from. So again, we have a diagram that shows 2 different light sources. So we know that they're not the same because they have a different effect. We're going to apply what we've learned to determine which type of light is being used to emit this. And we're looking at these waves. All right, so let's look at the difference. So we have choice A, B, and C. So one thing I'm kind of noticing is it looks like light C is the same as light source 1. Do you guys agree? Maybe, maybe not. Okay, so then let's look at the difference between A and B. So looks like if I'm looking at C, and let me pull up the bigger picture here and amplify. If I kind of look at the grid here, right? The wavelength here is about like one box a little bit over, right? If I measure those two, that's pretty much exactly the same as light source 1 and as B. So the wavelength isn't changing on B. It's the amplitude that we're getting a higher wave. Whereas A, look, that wavelength is a little bit shorter. There's more waves here. So which do you think is going to cause damage if we increase the amplitude or we increase the wavelength? And if you need help remembering this, let's get why I had the sim open, is if we go to our custom, this is what we did last week. We made a custom light wave. We edited the wave. Okay. So remember, this was gamma rays. And remember, we could change the wavelength here. All right. So what caused damage? Is it when I changed the wavelength or when I changed the amplitude? So let's just change the amplitude here and make the wavelength like red. Okay. So here I made the wavelength a little bit longer and I made the amplitude shorter. Let's see what happens. Okay. I just have photosynthesis, right? But it says it's low photosynthesis. Let's see what happens if I edit my wave. I'm going to leave I'm going to leave the wavelength the same. I'm not going to touch that. Instead, I'm just going to make the amplitude bigger. See if that causes a change. Oh, look at that. Light was brighter, right? So let's inspect. Still photosynthesis, but this time it's more photosynthesis. It's getting more red light. It can go through more photosynthesis. Okay, so that didn't change. It just kind of changed how much photosynthesis it went through. All right, so let's go back again. This time, I'm not going to touch the amplitude. I'm going to touch the wavelength. And I'm going to make it shorter. All right, so I have X-rays now. I have a shorter wavelength. Let's inspect. Oh, I get damage, not photosynthesis. So which thing did I change to get damage? Did I change the wavelength or did I change the amplitude? And so you got to pick which source changes. So again, if you want to mess with the sim, go back to like right here, part 3, open the sim and mess with it and figure it out. But this is your assignment for today. Okay, so it should be nice and short. Get that done. Also, your new learning log is in Classroom today. It looks like this. Okay, so you can start to fill that out. And also, let's just go over our calendar for the week. So today, you only have one question to do in Amplify, but you got to review a few things to get it correct. We have office hours today. Tomorrow, you're going to read and annotate an article in Google Classroom. I'm actually going to go ahead and post it today so that if anybody wants to work ahead a little bit, they can. But I'll put slides with the video out for that tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, you're going to use that article to answer the 3 questions about it in part 5 on Amplify. And then you're going to do just the warm up in 2.4. And then on Thursday, we'll do 2.4 part 2. It's going to be a sim activity. It should take a little bit of time. And then Friday is your learning log, or you can do your learning log throughout the week and not have work on Friday. All right, so a lot like last week. So hope you guys are doing well. Again, if you have any questions, anything, email me, jump on office hours from 1 to 2.